president of the Tesla Owners Club of Ontario. We have a guest on this video that we're going to talk to, Danielle St-Aubin, who's the CEO, I believe, of Trees Canada. And many of you may know that we did a campaign with them last month during April for our Earth Day event and fundraised to help plant trees, I think, in Northern Ontario. So Daniel, you're probably aware of this, but we raised $6,175 from our individual members in the club, which was phenomenal. And then we as a club decided to match up to $5,000 of that. So we put our $5,000 in and gave a total of $11,175 for your very worthy cause. And we've also decided to contribute to going forward. We'll probably donate certain points during the year or maybe at the end of the year, but based on the dues of people as they sign up at their club. So welcome.
Thank you. And yes, I am aware of your fantastic donation in the match and very, very grateful for your support. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So we have just a few questions just to help everybody understand a little bit more about your organization. So tell us just a little bit about it. How did it started? What sort of goals do you have? That kind of thing.
Sure. So Tree Canada is really the only national nonprofit organization that's dedicated to planting and nurturing trees in both urban and rural environments. So we work both with municipal and private landowners to green communities across Canada. And that's important because, you know, in municipalities, they have their own parks and whatnot, and we work with them. But, you know, there are certain communities where up to 60% is sort of privately owned, whether it be homeowners or corporations or institutions, that kind of thing. So we work with everybody. We were founded in 1992, and we were originally funded by the Canadian Forest Service, which is a branch of Natural Resources Canada. And that was for a few years, but now we are completely privately funded, and we rely on donations and sponsorship to run our programs, which is why we are so grateful for your support. And so through our programs, sorry.
No, I'm just saying that's great. Continue.
Yeah, no, and I just get so excited. So please cut me off if I'm speaking too much.
No, don't waste it all.
But so we run programs, we have research and engagement efforts. And what we do is we specifically, you know, we go into areas that have been, that need restoration. They might have been hit by natural disasters. We also help communities manage their urban forests because they need to know how to develop a plan for the communities. We plant in schoolyards, and we also run urban forest conferences too. And so in terms of our goals, we just want to keep growing. We want to keep inspiring more groups like the Tesla Owners Club of Ontario to get involved.
Great. And what other have you had any major accomplishments in the last number of years you'd like to share with us?
Well, I guess I would say the biggest accomplishment is that we've planted more than 83 million trees in support of our of communities across Canada. So we're pretty proud of that, that's for sure. And we've also really increased our reach over the past 2 years through to help really put urban forestry on the map, so to speak. So, you know, for example, when you think about forests or when you think about trees, you think about forests, and you don't really think about forests in your community, in your neighborhood, and what an impact they have on our neighborhoods. And so, you know, we are out there educating people about how trees clean and cool the air, how they manage stormwater, how they, well, especially these days, will calm our minds, which is really important because of the pandemic and the effects, the mental health effects of the pandemic. And I guess one of the last items I wanted to mention was that in 2011, we successfully lobbied the Parliament of Canada to proclaim the first ever National Tree Day. And so this event is now an annual celebration, and it takes place on the Wednesday of National Forest Week, which is, I think, the third week of September.
Oh, wow. Have to keep us in the loop on that.
Yeah.
And what else, what are you working on in Ontario specifically? And I know I think our initiative was directed to help up in the Sudbury area, probably because of the mining and some of the impact on trees up there. But what are you working on in Ontario specifically?
Yes, and you're right. So your support has gone to a very large-scale planting in Ontario and that's through our National Greening Program, which is our seedling program. So you're helping to plant 75,000 trees in the Sudbury area, and as many of you might know, this is an area that's been impacted by logging and mining. I'm from Sudbury, so I know exactly what the area was like, but it was really devoid of vegetation, and it was really somewhat contaminated. I mean, I remember in I think it was 1972. There was a group of astronauts that came to Sudbury to study the craters before going to the moon. So it gives you a sense of what Sudbury might have been like. It's not like that anymore. And this project is really helping to keep the vegetation going, because the ecosystem was really destroyed quite a bit. So in addition to that, there's, I believe it's 30 community-based greening projects that are happening, and those are more urban projects. We're working with conservation authorities and municipalities and schools and community groups. And through those projects, we're planting an additional 2,500 trees in Ontario.
Great. Okay, and then I guess I had a few questions on things like, who actually plants the trees? Do you use volunteers, or how does that work?
Well, it depends on our program. So we've got a Partners in Planting program where we can bring a corporation together with our experts to guide them to plant the trees appropriately, and they'll bring their staff or they'll bring their own volunteers to help plant. And in other situations, like for our national greening program, for example, we use professional planters to do that, because that's like mass planting. So we really have to make sure that those trees are well planted. But then afterwards, we go in and we check in on those trees in year 2, year 4, and year 5 to make sure that they are free to grow, so to speak. They're old enough and they're strong enough to be able to manage on their own. So we always monitor our trees after they've been planted.
You know, and you may be aware now that we have a pretty active social media presence, and I would say that anything you could share with us ongoing during the year for pictures of the fledgling trees growing, or people planting trees or anything like that, we could do some updates periodically. I know Anise that looks after social media would probably love to have some just some pictures and things that we can do, because now that we're sponsoring you ongoing, that would just help us keep the exposure and the presence for both of us.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea for sure. I'll let my team know about that. That's awesome.
And then I know we've sort of talked about this, but basically, what else does the money go towards? I mean, is it paying for staff? Is it, other than the actual trees itself, what else is the money actually being used?
So basically, the way we function is we run our own programs. So what we do is we'll take the funds, use them for our mission, but our mission is really coordinating and finding land, which is not an easy feat, I'll tell you. Finding land, finding the seedlings, negotiating with all of our partners, coordinating the planting projects, getting the trees in the ground, monitoring the trees. If the trees end up failing, or if they're having a hard time, we will replant at our own expense as well. So we make sure, no matter what, that there's going to be at least 65% of those trees that will survive, and that represents a natural forest as it grows, right? So if you can't always have 100% of the trees growing, because they're going to crowd each other out as they grow. So 65% is considered acceptable from a forest standard perspective. But we also do a lot of really important research into best practices in urban forestry, because it's a relatively new area. So trees were always kind of meant to be cut down, and now we're really understanding the value of preserving them in terms of capturing the carbon, of course, which is really important for our environment, but also, as I was mentioning, all the benefits that trees provide, including, it's important to understand that when you're in a shaded area of the tree, when you're under shade, you're actually probably 10 degrees less, exposed to 10 degrees less than you are if you're in full sun. And so when we plant on school grounds, for example, kids have a place to play because they've got a shaded area. There are a lot of schools in Canada that don't have any trees. And so that's really part of what we find is important to us. The other part of what we do with the funds is really about education and teaching people. We're not there to compete or to say that, if you cut down a tree, it's a terrible thing. We're there to sort of help people understand that you have to plant the right tree in the right place so that you don't feel the need to cut it down, or it's not in your way, or it's not causing any damage or anything like that. There's lots to there's lots to learn. There's lots to do with their organization.
Okay, great. Well, we're very happy to be associated with you and look forward to this going forward. In summary, anything else you want to share with us about Tree Canada?
Well, just that we're really grateful for your support. And if you can make it, National Tree Day is on September 22nd. It's on a Wednesday. We're going to be having some events, and if we're allowed to gather, we're hoping to have some community plantings across the country. So we'll be sure to let you know when those.
Yeah, just keep us in the loop on that. Keep us in the loop on that for sure. And as I said, any images you can share that we can put on social media, we'll be glad to do that. So appreciate your time, and we were glad we came across you as an organization to support sort of with our overall mission. And thanks very much again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, Danielle.